Hi, it's Miranda from Pliable. Lovely to have you here. Thanks for joining us. Today we're going to talk to you about the 3 most common mistakes I find with people wanting to lose weight, break free from emotional eating, and love themselves and their body and their life once and for all. Now, there are many mistakes and many keys to success, but I'm just going to share with you the top 3 that I've found, so it gives you a bit of insight here. But if you'd love to know more about these mistakes or more in general, reach out and contact me. I'd love to chat with you and give you some more insights. So the first mistake I find people make is that they focus so much, and I did this too, on our diet, our exercise, our actions. We think, in order to get the result that we want, we just need to do more exercise, and we need to learn more about the food. We need to try a new diet, and we need to force ourselves more and have more willpower and have more self-discipline. And if we did that, then we would get the weight loss that we're after. But actually, self-willpower and discipline is actually something that's a really limited resource. The actions we have are caused by the feelings that we have and that are caused by the thoughts we have. So it's actually more important to work out and focus on what are the causes of these actions, what's going on behind the surface, underneath the surface, behind the scenes that we can work on. And then the actions just take care of themselves as a result naturally. So an example of this is, you may have an issue with emotional eating and comfort eating and breaking your diet or something like that. And actually what's going on there is there's some feelings that you're avoiding and you're running away from a lot of the time that are then fueling the action to emotionally eat and comfort eat. And so when you get the insight into what are the feelings and the thoughts that are triggering those feelings, and you get insight around that mindfulness and you challenge those things, the action and that emotional eating just actually disappears. And I've seen that in myself and with clients time and time again. Or say, for instance, you keep not doing the diet that you're on, or you keep not doing the eating plan that you're doing. A lot of the time, when you strip it back, it's coming back to some thoughts that you're having, and you may be really critical of yourself. You think you're a loser, you think you're not successful, you think you're never going to get what you want. And so then you get a feeling of apathy, a feeling of hopelessness, a feeling of your failure. And you end up then jumping off the bandwagon, not doing what you've set out to do because that thought has been reiterated and what you really believe. And so you'll just do what then aligns with it, and you'll do what proves that to be true. So they're just some many examples of how the mistake is focusing on action. And the key to success is looking back at our feelings and our thoughts that are causing the action. Now, the second mistake people make is they also then focus on the result they want, on the weight that they want, on the shape that they want. And they get so obsessed with that and focused on it. And now this can cause many issues for many reasons. But one thing is, we actually can't control that result. We actually can control the thoughts and the feelings and the actions we do. That will then take care of the result. So if we put the effort and focus on, as I said, those other things, that will be beneficial. Because when we focus on the weight, and maybe the weight isn't coming off quick enough, or it's not coming off the way we want it, or we end up again having a blip, feeling not great, and so then we eat a lot and then we don't end up shifting in the weight, all it does is get us feeling, again, more hopeless, more disappointed, more down, more thinking that this is never going to work, this is never going to change. And so then the result doesn't shift for us, or it doesn't shift for long. Another issue with this mistake that we have with focusing on the weight is we might actually never actually think we're good enough and lovable and beautiful within ourselves. That might be the thought deep down. And so I've had this with me before too. It doesn't matter what weight we get to. It doesn't matter what shape we get to. It's never enough. We always want more. And I've had clients that have lost weight, and because they hadn't shifted the thought yet, they didn't actually see themselves any differently. They didn't actually see themselves as beautiful or any differently like the way everyone else was seeing them. And so again, if we don't shift the thought and the feeling and that key part there, this focusing on our weight and focusing on this becomes a real mistake for us. It ends up getting in our way and sabotaging ourselves all the time. Now, the third mistake that people make is actually trying to do this by themselves. I know for me, I try to figure this out. I try to become a personal trainer. I started to read all these books, do these online things, try to figure it all out by myself. And it took me 20 years, 70 something grand later, 8 years of university, all these other things in order to get great insights. And then when I actually got a coach and I actually worked through things with myself the last 2 years, that's when the insights went up. That's when the breakthroughs went up. That's when the highlighting of these thoughts and these feelings and these beliefs and these issues and patterns I had increased dramatically, because we often have blind folds and blind spots to our thoughts and the way that we're functioning in the patterns. And when someone objectively comes in and supports us and helps us, and it's someone that we can model from and learn from, and they've done the journey, so we can learn from them in that journey they've done, we don't have to reinvent the wheel, that actually exceeds our results. That exceeds and improves and increases and speeds up the results that we're after and the shifts we're after. Because that 20 years I spent trying to do it alone ended up being really challenging and hard. But once I spent the last 2 years doing it with a coach and doing it with someone else, it just increased my result dramatically and my changes and my transformations. And so a really big key I find is also getting a coach, getting someone who's objective, someone who can help you and has got the results that you want, and help them work it through.